family and friends. Welcome back to my channel. This is Cynthia from Cynthia's Crafts and More. If you're new here, welcome. It's an honor to have you. I'm going to be reading from the Bible.com version, the Bible app, and I'm reading from the book of Numbers. And I will be reading chapters 4, 5, and 6. Numbers, chapter 4. Kohath's clan. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron, "Write a list of the people in Kohath's clan and their families. That list must be separate from the list of the other Levites. Record the men who can work in the tent of meeting. Record them if they are between 30 and 50 years old. These men must take care of everything that is holy in the tent of meeting. When the people are ready to move, Aaron and his sons must go into the tent of meeting. They must take down the curtain that is in front of the covenant box. They must cover the covenant box with the curtain. They must cover the curtain with good leather. On top of that, they must put a blue cloth. Then they must put the poles through the rings so that they can carry the covenant box. They must put a blue cloth over the table for the special bread. The bread must remain on the table. They must put on the cloth of the plates, bowls, and dishes. They must also put on it the jars for the wine that they offer to me. Then they must cover all those things with a red cloth. On top of the red cloth, they must put good leather. Then they must fix the poles to the table so they can carry it. They must cover the lampstand with its tools with blue cloth. They must also cover the jars for the oil with the blue cloth. Then they must cover all this with good leather. They must carry it on board. They must cover the gold altar with the blue cloth. They must cover the blue cloth with good leather. Then they must fix the poles in the altar so that they can carry it. They must cover the tools from God's holy tent with a blue cloth. They must cover the blue cloth with good leather. They must carry all this on a board. They must remove the ashes from the bronze altar. They must cover the bronze altar with the purple cloth. They must put all the tools on top of it. That includes the plates for the fire, the forks for the meat, the spades, and the bowls. They must cover all that with good leather. Then they must put the poles through the rings on the altar so that they can carry it. When the camp is ready to move, the men from Kohath's clan must be ready to carry all those things, but they must wait until Aaron and his sons have covered God's holy tent and all its holy things. The men from Kohath's clan must not touch the holy things. They will die if they touch the holy things. These are the jobs of Kohath's clan. They must carry the things from the tent of meeting when the Israelites travel. Eleazar, who is the son of Aaron the priest, must keep the oil for the light. He must keep the incense and the grain offering. He must keep the special oil. The special oil is the mark on everything that God chooses. Eleazar must take care of the whole tent of meeting. He must work with God's holy tent and with everything in it. Then the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, You must not cause the end of Kohath's clan from among the Levites. Do not let the men in that clan die. That will happen if they come near the most holy things. You must do this. Aaron and his sons must go into the tent of meeting. They will tell each man the work he must do, and they must tell each man the things that he must carry. But the men from Kohath's clan must not look at anything that is holy, even for a moment. If they do look at those things, they will die. Gershon's clan. Then the Lord said to Moses, also write a list of the people of Gershon's clan and their families. Record the men who can work in the tent of meeting. Record them if they are between 30 and 50 years old. The work of the men in Gershon's clan is to carry everything. The men from that clan must carry the curtains of God's tent. They must carry the tent of meeting with all the things that covers it. And they must carry the good leather that covers all that. They must carry the curtain for the place where people go into the tent of meeting. They must carry the curtains of the yard that is round God's tent. Also, they must carry the curtain and ropes for the place where people go into the yard. That is, the yard that is round God's tent and the altar. The men from Gershon's clan must carry the tools that belong with those curtains. They must do everything that all those things need. The men in Gershon's clan must do everything that Aaron and his sons asked them to do. Aaron and his sons must tell them the things that they should carry, and they must tell them everything they should do. That is the work for the tent of meeting that the descendants of Gershon must do. Ithamar, the son of Aaron the priest, will tell them the things that they must do. Merari's clan. Also God said to Moses, write a list of the people in Merari's clan in their families. Record the men who can work in the tent of meeting. Record them if they are between 30 and 50 years old. This is the work of the men in Merari's clan. They must carry the wood parts that hold the tent of meeting and its poles. They must carry its pillars and its bases. They must carry the pillars, bases, pegs, and ropes for the yard that is around God's tent. And the men in Merari's clan must keep all the tools that belong with those things safe. Each man in Merari's clan must take care of something. Tell each man which things he must carry. That is the work the descendants of Merari in the tent of meeting. Ithamar, the son of Aaron the priest, will tell them the things that they must do. The numbers in the Levite clans. So Moses, Aaron, and the people's leaders recorded the names of Kohath's descendants in their clans and in their families. They recorded the men who could work in the tent of meeting. They recorded them if they were between 30 and 50 years old. They recorded them in clans. There were 2,750 men. Moses and Aaron recorded the descendants of Kohath who worked at the tent of meeting. The Lord had told Moses that they must do that. Moses and Aaron also recorded the names of Gershon's descendants in their clans and in their families. They recorded the men who could work in in the tent of meeting. They recorded them if they were between 30 and 50 years old. They recorded them in the clans and families. There were 2,630 men. Moses and Aaron recorded the descendants of Gershon who worked at the tent of meeting. The Lord had told Moses that they must do that. Moses and Aaron also recorded the names of Merari's descendants and in their clans and in their families. They counted all the men who worked in the tent of meeting. They counted them if they were between 30 and 50 years old. They recorded them in clans. There were 3,200 men. Moses and Aaron recorded the descendants of Merari who worked at the tent of meeting. The Lord had told Moses that they must do that. Moses and Aaron and the people's leaders recorded the names of the Levites in their clans and in their families. They counted all the men who worked in the tent of meeting, and they counted all the men who carried any of its things. They counted them if they were between 30 and 50 years old. There were 8,580 Levites in the list. They told each man the things he must do, or they told him that he must carry. Moses recorded all their names. The Lord had told him that he must do that. And this concludes the book of Numbers, chapter 4. The book of Numbers, chapter 5. Unclean people. The Lord said to Moses, "Speak to the Israelites. They must send any person with disease of the skin away from the camp, or somebody may have a disease that causes pus to come out of his body. Any person like that is not clean. Anyone who has touched a dead person is also not clean. Send those people out of the camp too. Do this with both men and women. Send them out of the camp. They must not make the camp unclean, because that is where I live among the people." The Israelites did what the Lord had said to Moses. They sent those people outside the camp. What to pay when you do a wrong thing. The Lord said to Moses, "Tell these rules to the Israelites. A person might do a wrong thing against another. If they do, then they have turned against the Lord. That person must agree that they have sinned. They must pay the right amount to the other person. They must also pay them 1/5 extra. But the other person may have died. If they have no relative who can accept the money must go to the Lord. The person who did a wrong thing must give the money and a male sheep to the priest. The sheep is a special gift to the Lord to make everything right. Then I will forgive that person. All the special gifts from the Israelites to God are for the priest. The priest will keep all the special gifts." Husbands and wives. The Lord said to Moses, "Speak to the Israelites. Tell them to follow these rules. A woman may do wrong things against her husband. She might have sex with another man. The husband might not know about this. His wife might have kept it secret. Nobody came in while it was happening, so there's nobody to say that it happened. But the man may think that it happened. He will be angry. She may not have made herself unclean in that way. The man must take his wife to the priest. He must bring 1 kilogram of barley flour with him. This is a grain offering to discover if his wife really did do those things. So she must not put oil or incense on the grain offering. That is an offering because the man does not trust his wife. Then the priest will bring the woman to stand in front of the Lord. He must pour some holy water into a bowl that someone has made that day from clay. He must take some dust from the floor of God's tent, and he must put the dust into the water. Then the priest must bring the woman in front of the Lord. The priest must make the woman's hair free. He must put into her hands a grain offering. That is the offering because man does not trust his wife. The priest must hold the bowl that contains the bitter water. The bitter water brings a curse. Then the woman must agree to the strong promise that the priest tells her to say. The priest must say to her, "This water brings a curse. If no other man has had sex with you, it will not hurt you. But if another man has had sex with you, may the Lord bring a curse on you. The bitter water will cause your female parts to become smaller. Your stomach will become very big. That will happen when you drink bitter water." The woman must say, "That shall happen. I agree." The priest must write the curses on special paper. Then he must wash the words off the paper into the bitter water. He must tell the woman that she must drink the bitter water. This water that brings a curse will go into her body. It may cause her to be very ill. But first, the priest must take the grain offering from their hands. That is the offering because the man does not trust his wife. The priest must lift it up in front of the Lord. Then he must bring it to the altar. He must burn a small part of it as a sacrifice. After that, the woman must drink the bitter water. If the woman has had sex with another man, the water will cause her to have very bad pain. Her female parts will become smaller. Her stomach will become very big, and people will curse her. But if she did not do those wrong things, the water will not hurt her. She will be able to have babies. Perhaps a man is jealous because his wife has had sex with another man, or he may only think that his wife has had sex with another man. This is what the law says that the priest must do. The man must bring her in front of the Lord. If the woman did not do those wrong things, you may not punish her husband. But if the woman did do those wrong things, you must punish her. And this concludes the book of Numbers, chapter 5. The book of Numbers, chapter 6. People who make special promises to the Lord. The Lord said to Moses, "Tell the Israelites this: a man or a woman may want to make a special promise to the Lord. That will make him or her special from other people as a Nazarite. They must not drink wine. They must not drink any alcohol or vinegar. They must not drink the juice of grapes, or eat grapes or raisins. They must not eat the seeds of grapes for all the time that they are Nazarites. They must not even eat the skin of grapes. A person must not cut his hair during the time that he is a Nazarite. He must be different all the time that he is separate for the Lord. He must let the hair on his head grow long. He must not go near a dead body while he is separate for the Lord. His hair shows that he is separate for God, so he must not go near a dead body. He must not go near it even if the dead person is his father, mother, brother, or sister. During the time that the person is a Nazarite, they are holy because they belong to the Lord. The Nazarite may be near to a person when that person dies suddenly. Then his head becomes unclean. He must remove all the hair from his head 7 days after the person dies. Then he will be clean. On day 8, he must bring 2 doves or 2 young pigeons to the door of the tent of meeting. He must give them to the priest. The priest must sacrifice one bird as a sin offering, and the other bird as a burnt offering. The priest must do that because the Nazarite sinned. He went too near to a dead body. That will make the Nazarite's head unclean, and on that same day, he must begin his time as a Nazarite again, with a new promise to the Lord. He cannot include the days before he became unclean. He must bring a male lamb that is 1 year old. That is a guilt offering. He is a Nazarite for a certain time. When that time finishes, the people must bring him to the door of the tent of meeting. He must offer to the Lord 3 animals that have nothing wrong with them. He must offer a young male sheep that is 1 year old. That is the burnt offering. He must offer a young female sheep that is 1 year old. That is a sin offering. He must offer a male sheep that is a friendship offering. And he must bring a basket of bread that people have made without yeast. He must bring cakes that people have made with the best flour and oil. Also, he must bring thin biscuits with oil on them, but they must not have yeast in them either. He must bring the proper grain offering and drink offerings with them. The priest must offer those things to the Lord, and he must sacrifice the sin offering and the burnt offering. Then the priest must sacrifice the male sheep as a friendship offering to the Lord. He must offer the basket of bread. He must give the grain offering to the drink offering with it. Then the Nazarite must stand at the place where the people go into the tent of meeting. He must remove all of the hair from his head. He must put his hair into the same fire where the priest has cooked the friendship offering. When the male sheep is cooked, the priest must take its shoulder. Also, he must take 1 cake and 1 thin biscuit from the basket. The cake and the biscuit must not have yeast in them. The priest must put these things into the hand of the Nazarite, who has removed the hair from his head. The Nazarite must give those things back to the priest. The priest must lift them up to the Lord as a special gift. They are a special gift for the priest. Also, the priest can eat the front part of the sheep and its back leg. After that, the Nazarite can drink wine. Those are the rules about Nazarites. Also, the Nazarite might give anything else that he can give. He must bring any other gift that he promised to the Lord. The priest's blessing. The Lord said to Moses, "Tell Aaron and his sons to use these words when they ask me to bless the Israelites. They must say, I pray to the Lord, I will bless you. I pray that he will keep you safe. I pray that the Lord will smile at you. And I pray that he will be very kind to you. I pray that the Lord will be pleased with you. And I pray that he will give you peace in your minds." Aaron and his sons must use the name to bless the Israelites. If they do that, I will certainly bless them. And this concludes the book of Numbers, chapter 6. I hope you've enjoyed these readings and that you will come back tomorrow for more of the book of Numbers. I hope you have a wonderful, beautiful, and blessed day, and may the Lord keep you safe, warm, dry, and healthy. Remember that Jesus loves you, and so do I. And let's pray for peace and love. Until tomorrow, God bless. Love you guys.